Switches are used to break or enable connections between logic boxes. This tutorial video will go over how to successfully integrate switches into your missions. The switch has 2 inputs and 1 output. The first input you connect will always hook into its primary connection, on the narrow end. When another logic box is hooked into the switch's secondary input, the connection will be interrupted when the attached logic box is triggered. Depending on whether the switch is set to disable or enable, it will either deactivate or activate the connection. Essentially, disable and enable break down to until this happens do this, and after this happens do this. A simple way to demonstrate how the switch works is by using the volume and the set objective. First, place a volume and be sure the auto reset is set to yes. Otherwise, the volume may not trigger when desired. Place the switch and set it to enable. Place a set objective and input whatever text you want, and connect them accordingly. For this demonstration, we'll be using a simple defeat the militia monitor. Place your militia and then a monitor set to incapacitated, and connect the monitor into the switch's secondary input. Target the switch to make sure the smart text reads, "After all default group are incapacitated or defeated, when Cole enters the perimeter, set objective." Now let's see how it works. As you can see, Cole runs through the volume, but nothing happens. However, after we defeat the militia and pass back through the volume, the objective appears. Now simply change the switch to disable, and you will see how its other setting functions. With this setup, the volume will trigger continually, constantly resetting the objective, until all militia have been defeated. Once they've all been defeated, the switch will break its connection, and the volume will no longer trigger its output. Switches are great for when you want the player to complete objectives in a particular order. Since you can enable or disable objectives based on previously completed events, you can control how the player progresses through your mission. That's all for the Switch tutorial. Take some time to play around with the basic setup for a better understanding of how they work. Be sure to visit our inFAMOUS 2 UGC forums for the latest contests and in-depth tutorials.
PlayStation